Welcome. You're listening to Passages. I'm Drew. I got Tim and Jason with me, and we're glad to be back. We just have a lot of fun with this, guys, and I need something to distract me from the political environment we're in right now. It's 2024 election year. I'm sure this year we might be talking about the election a little bit. I've already got a good book title that I'm working on after the New Hampshire primaries. And I saw Governor Chris Sununu on TV, and it made me think this great book title, If You Knew What Chris Sununu Knew.
That's
what do
great.
you think?
I think that's an excellent title. I think our listenership to the podcast will go up if this becomes a respite from all things politics.
Well, that's true.
Unless we just have a good, funny story.
Right. We're not going to get serious about politics. Well, I can't make that promise because I may blow a fuse on the air. That may happen.
Well, this is a safe place for fuse
nothing
blowing.
like a good rant. So, I mean, we'll take that
you guys
anytime
haven't
we
heard,
get one.
I've never topped my historic people leaving their junk on their pews rant from
that's
the
a
elders
good
meeting
one.
back.
We need to write that one down for like a, just favorite rants episode.
Jason's had some rants,
I've
too.
had a couple of rants. I had one about macaroni and cheese and COVID one time.
Church building looks like an underpass.
Yeah, that's a direct quote.
Oh, that's a goodie.
Yeah. All right. Get us started, Tim.
All right. So I'm going to start. I don't have a news article to quote from tonight.
That's
so
okay.
Just got a little story to share. And I didn't realize it when I shared, Drew, a little bit of this with you earlier, that I was going to use this for my discussion opportunity tonight. So I've already told Drew a little bit. But so this evening, as many families do, it was time for dinner. Dinner on a Wednesday night, right? It can often involve a fast food opportunity. And so we did what families normally do. What do you want? Oh, I don't know. What do you want? Well, so Millie asked for something from one restaurant, and I went out, and Jonathan was trying to make my eardrums rupture with his drums in the garage. And so I got him stopped and said, well, how about, we go to restaurant number one, right? And so he said, no, I don't want something from there, but how about restaurant number two? Okay. So 2 restaurants that I was going to were Chick-fil-A and Taco Bell. All right?
Quite an experience.
Chick-fil-A and Taco Bell. Mm-hmm. So this really gets into what I want to talk about tonight, although I will tell you sort of how a dinner that was supposed to start at 6 ended up starting at 6:30 in a moment. But so the first reason that it started at 6:30 by the time that I got food back here to the church building is that I turned out of Oliver Crossing to the left and headed toward Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A. And the next thing I knew, I was in the drive-thru at McDonald's. And
is your car trained to go there?
I think it might be.
The funniest thing is knowing Tim as well as I know him. I can picture your facial expression when it dawned. I can picture your facial expression on your way to McDonald's when you're in oblivion, and then I can picture it when it dawns on you that you're not even at either restaurant.
When it hit me, I was like rolling the window down. I made it all the way. So I didn't sit in line. It wasn't that bad, but I drove up to the drive-thru, rolled the window down, and I went, oh, shoot.
If it had been the moment they said, welcome to McDonald's, you want to use your mobile app today? That would have been... actually, no. I don't even want to be here.
And if I say that I never will use a mobile app, will you stop asking me that? Right. So anyhow, clearly, so part of what
now,
I want...
In your defense, that entrance to Taco Bell and McDonald's may be 10 yards apart. So maybe it was an accident.
It wasn't
Probably
an
not.
accident.
It was just
It was muscle memory.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's the unconscious mind, right? And so that's
You're going to take this deep.
I wanted to put that.
You're gonna go down
I want to
deep.
put that on the table for a second, but
Okay.
let me just tell you the rest of
Neuroscience.
Put a
So
pin
then
in that.
I had to take my life into my own hands and try the across the road from McDonald's to Chick-fil-A
Oh,
on a
that's
Wednesday
dangerous.
night,
Which
It's
is what we like to refer to the high accident zone.
So get ready, our Father who art in heaven. Here we
Done
go.
it.
Right, and so I made it over there, and got in the eternal line. Listen, I appreciate those folks. They get you in and out as quick as they can, but demand is high over
But
there.
when you're 30 cars deep,
Yeah.
there's no getting
So
out of there quickly.
when I was like down the road, make the turn, and then I'm back here at the beginning of like where the concrete begins, it's gonna be a minute.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I make my way through that list. On top of that, because it was raining, the people weren't out there moving things along, so everybody gets their order once they get up to the drive-through. Let me save that one for another time too.
Okay.
I want to know.
Yeah, I'll put another pin in that.
Put a pin in that one, right?
I better
We
make
need a
notes.
secretary.
Do the two
A lot of
people who are
pins.
out there really do any good? I don't know. I can't
Is it
figure that
helping?
out. Right? Is
Yeah.
it helping, or is
because
just,
if it
is
helped-
it just to make you feel better about sitting in
I
line?
don't know that if it helped, other restaurants would be doing it, right?
Except it is God's chicken, so they have
They
sometimes
have maybe
they have
more clientele.
That's right. So they know. All right, so make it through that line. That takes a minute or two, and then I go over to Taco Bell for the last leg of the three
you
legs.
crossed
So
twice.
So I cross back across. So it's like sort of
Just as hard.
crisscross.
Yeah.
The fact that I didn't die tonight,
Your GPS was really
modern day
confused.
miracle. Yeah, exactly. So I make my way back across there, and so I get in line, and there was one car in front of me, and I start watching. It looks like a telethon board or something spinning with the order this lady's spitting out. And I was like, this escapade is never going to end. And so I start staring at the board because it says like,
This is probably about the time where
it
people
starts-
around here were saying, "Has anybody seen
It starts
Tim?"
raining, and I'm rolling down my window and looking out. Am I really seeing this? I think it says 6 of these and 5 of these. She spent $33 at Taco Bell. If you spend $33 at Taco
That's
Bell,
food for an army.
I think that's everything on the menu multiple
Yeah.
times.
It's a lot
So-
of stuff.
She may have been hungry, Tim.
I thought she's never, and I don't know if y'all have been to Taco Bell. If you're fortunate, you haven't in a while.
I have not ever
But-
been there.
A lot of places do the "will you pull forward" thing, and I thought,
Oh,
please
I hate
say,
that.
I hate it when it's me. But tonight I really needed it to happen, but no, they don't do it. So they fulfilled her $33 order, and then I got here at 6:30. So
And that's the Taco Bell drive-through line is the one that once you get in it, there's
You're
no
stuck.
getting out. It's like Hotel California. Once you come in, you can't never
that's
leave.
right.
That's
So that
right,
was
you
the
can
reason
check in.
that while I was leading singing tonight, I was also feeling that grilled chicken wrap from from Chick-fil-A pretty hard.
Well, you remind me of this may make you feel a little bit better because I know you're feeling absent-minded, maybe a little senile tonight. But when I was in college, I remember leaving my dorm room and walking several blocks to the subway and having them make my sandwich only to get to the cash register and them tell me how much it is and to feel and realize that I left my wallet back in my room.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get anything out except for, I think somebody stole my wallet. And I just walked off, and they'd made this customized sandwich just for me that they had to throw away. So
If you were wise, you'd have waited till they put it in the dumpster and then
And
got
gone
it out.
dumpster
Yeah,
diving.
yeah, yeah.
fought the
Well, we've all
raccoons
done
for it.
that thing where you get home and you're like, did I come home on 411
Well,
or did
that's
I
what-
get home
that's
on
what
the
I wanted-
interstate?
That's
or,
what I wanted to talk about a little bit too.
All right, I'm taking the
Right.
pin out of that
Road
swing.
hypno-
So we're
Hypnosis.
back to the because I'm wondering how much of this unconscious thing that we're talking about here has to do with travel in a car, because when I started thinking about realizing where I was there, and Drew made a comment to me earlier tonight that stuck with me too, is that lately I've been on autopilot a little too much because these autopilot situations can feel sort of scary when they hit you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's probably been a couple months ago. I was on autopilot, and I think maybe I was supposed to go get Jonathan at school or something. And I think I caught myself like going over to the bridge into Moody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, where am I going?
I know what's over there. It's Wendy's.
And I was, for a while, I was like, where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going?
It's scary, yeah. We sold a GMC Yukon back in 2020 and switched to a GMC Acadia. The Yukon had a column shift, and the Acadia's got the shift down between the seats. And I still reach up for that column shift every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm going into reverse, my hand's just grabbing the air. I think, you idiot.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Hey,
been 3
multiple
years.
4
years. You ought to get that out of your head
In the
now.
morning, I mean, multiple times, I've pulled up to my office, parked behind the office, only to hear Sam say, "Hey, you got to take me to school." And he's sitting next to me, but I'm just in that zone.
This is not old days. Sam's in the back seat even, right?
No, he's right there next
right
to me, and
next
he's
to
like,
you.
Dad, you got to take me.
But he let you get all the way to work.
He let me park.
I told you before that.
He wanted to be late to school.
No, he likes the giving me a hard time about it. It's bad.
funny.
It's embarrassing when you do that.
I think about 98% of what we do is autopilot.
Yeah.
So, before Millie and I got married, I would drive from Munford to Hoover 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And this would happen just all the time, right? It'd be like, how did I get from Leeds to Eastaboga all of a sudden, and you think back and it's like, how does that work in your mind? Were you really cognizant, or was the Lord just looking out for you when, you drove 20
Well, you were
miles?
probably
and you weren't
listening
even,
to something,
maybe,
right?
Yeah,
and
definitely. Right.
Other parts of your brain are taking care of the autopilot stuff, and your cognitive part is
Maybe part of it is just the
engaged
brain's
in
an
the-
amazing thing.
Yeah,
but,
I think
is,
it's.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like I think it's similar to the some of the body functions. I mean, we don't have to sit here and think, breathe, inhale, exhale. It just becomes natural, and I think it's that way in a lot of ways when our minds just drift off. And usually, I'm just daydreaming about something or just not paying attention. And I think our part of our brain is like, okay, we've done this a million times.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
get
maybe
through
that's part
this.
of it, because there were some days it's like, listen, I'm sort of glad I can't remember that because I'm tired of driving 60 miles a day, both ways. So
Yeah, it's the science behind habits. You form these neural pathways, these strong circuits in your head, and it's the way God made us, so we don't have to think about every little thing that we do. Just imagine what life would be like, just taking all the non-voluntary movement out, the breathing and the heartbeat and all that, set that aside. But, right now we're doing a whole lot of things we're not having to think about.
Yeah.
If we had to think about everything that we're doing, we'd go crazy. We wouldn't be able to do much at all.
I will say that I'm beginning to feel good that Millie does check me on Live 360 to sort of see where I am, because maybe she needs to.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
one
it sounds like she needs to keep doing that and do it
it'll
some more.
save the people from the grocery store calling and saying, we have this strange guy that says he knows you, and he's
come
been
pick-
here for 3 days. We're not sure what he's doing.
He's got your phone number, a safety pin to his collar. Could you come get him?
So at any point did Millie start texting, like, where are you?
I was texting her along the
Okay.
way.
I was gonna
This
say.
is going to take a minute.
Yeah.
So
Especially going through the drive-thru.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
Are y'all ready for a list? I know Tim likes
lay
Yeah,
it
let's
on
do a
me.
list.
All right.
unwritten social rules everyone could use a refresher on.
Oh, this is going to be good.
I don't know if we'll agree with all these, but it's been a while since I looked at the list, but it was a pretty good list. Never ask someone if they're pregnant. I agree with that one.
Oh, most definitely.
I have inserted that foot into my mouth a couple times
Jason.
in my practice. Well, you walk in and you're like, "Oh, congratulations!
When's the baby due?
And they're like, "Oh, I'm not expecting."
Oh,
That only happens maybe once, twice if you're dumb like I am. But after that,
Yeah, you're
you don't.
cured of that.
Like
Yeah.
they can be delivering a child now, and I will not ask or even comment about it
yeah.
unless somebody's told me or they bring it up.
This is one that gets on my nerves. Don't negatively comment on the food another person eats. Ooh, you like that? I don't like it when somebody asks me, I come in with a bag, what you got in there?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. No, that's a me problem.
No,
I just don't want to tell you. I don't know why.
The commenting on the food thing, especially if they're snob commenting on it, like, oh, you eat a Baconator? Yes, because I'm an American, and until they take our beef away, I will have one weekly.
And I love goodness.
Yeah.
But you have the people that are like, oh, I don't eat anything unless it's whatever.
Green.
Yeah. And I don't think I've had a green thing this year, guys. I seriously don't. Maybe
That you know of.
maybe a green
It's
bean.
not a booger.
Yeah, that's true.
A green M&M.
Yeah. Green, yeah. Starburst
Don't
jelly
stand
bean.
right up against a baggage carousel blocking others' sight lines and access.
Oh, yeah.
I can get on board with that.
That's
Yeah.
obnoxious. Yeah.
And add to that, don't walk through a door and stand in the doorway. Why do people do that?
I don't know, but
Walk
it happens
in,
every
and
Sunday at about
there's a line-
11:15.
Yeah, there's a line behind you. You wanted to come through the door. They do too.
And while you're on the baggage, right? So that'd be flying. The whole stand up when the plane lands.
Oh,
In order to
That should have been on this list.
Yeah, I mean
It
goes,
might be.
but it's the same people,
Oh, it is.
right?
Yeah, same
that
ones.
same obnoxious person
they're in a
that's
bigger hurry
blocking
than
the way
everybody else.
for the baggage is the one who jumped up so that they could get like 3 people forward in this line of folks that's not going to empty out anytime soon. And so
And
yeah.
now I've got somebody's body right next to me as
Yeah.
I'm in my aisle seat.
They're I
Not the
think
best part of their body
right,
either.
No.
They're shaking rump right in your
That's
face.
right.
Mhm.
Yep. All right, go ahead.
If someone says they have an appointment, don't ask what for. I've got an appointment. You say that because you don't want to tell them what
Yeah.
it's for.
Well, and if you will come up with a really creative answer to that, people will stop
Oh, I bet.
asking you what for.
Sure.
Parole officer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we're a little bit past this one, but we can all remember, don't touch other people's babies. Yeah, get your hands off my baby.
Yeah.
And no, I don't want you to hold her.
No. I don't know you. I've never met you. You shop at Walmart. Don't touch my
Oh,
baby.
whoa.
I mean, I was obviously there too. But just as a common rule, it's not a bad idea.
Now, I don't like this one. There's some of these, obviously, that we won't agree with.
Right. That's the reason we do
This reminds me,
right.
Tim, of Russia. If you're entering someone's home and you see shoes near the front door, take your shoes off at the front door.
Mm-hmm.
No, if you're going to invite me in, don't make me take my shoes off. How about that social rule?
How about
What does
that?
this look like? China?
And if you have any children in
really-
your house, you're lucky if there's just
What is
shoes by
this?
the door.
What is this?
They're
going to
be in the kitchen. They're going to be
Sign
in
of
the
honor,
living
are
room.
you the burning bush?
We've got shoes all over our house. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
it doesn't necessarily mean
the kids
you gotta
come
take
in.
your
I
shoes
might
off.
have a pair of cleats in the kitchen, a
Right.
pair of slides in the living room. There's shoes everywhere.
Seriously, though,
let me
look-
just say, it may be in the best interest of being polite to others for me to keep my shoes on.
Truth.
Well, I was about
right?
to say, some people have a issue with feet. I'm learning this, that they don't want to see feet. Or they don't want people to see their feet.
Okay.
So I
gotta
say,
like-
hey, whatever makes you comfortable, you can, with the shoes.
Got some weird toe issues going on.
Yeah,
or
you
something,
might have-
you know?
Now, if you've stepped in something the dog left in the yard on the way in,
Please
Yeah.
take them off.
take
Yeah,
them off.
would
Go outside and
appreciate
bang them
that,
together
right?
a little bit.
If you're-
I'll even give
if
you a
you're
water
fixing to
hose.
make some footprints in my house.
That's a little different.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. Elevators. The people exiting the elevator go first. The people exiting the train go first. The people exiting the bus go first. And then it gets into the airplanes. Airplanes are unloaded in numerical order, row 1, 2, 3, etc. I like how matter of fact that is. But yes, when you push the button for the elevator, the door opens. Don't charge
Step
in like a
back.
bull
No.
to get in there. They've got to get out.
That
before
goes
you
for
can
the
get in.
subway, the MARTA train.
Just let them
every-
off so
just
you
give
can get
them
in.
room.
And if you're in the elevator, it empties from the front to the back. Calm down. You're not that important that you need to dash from the back and try to get
Because
around
if those
somebody.
doors start closing, you just stick your arm through
That's
it and
right.
it opens
You
right
just
back.
say, "Excuse me, Or, worst case scenario, you ride down a floor and come back up again. Not the end of the world.
Not the end.
Okay, here's a big one for me. This is what made me bring the list, and it may not be a big deal to y'all. I don't know if anybody's ever done this to you before. When someone shows you a picture on their phone, no swiping allowed. Have you ever had someone do that?
Did you tell us this story on air or off air? I think it was.
I think it was off air.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm not going to bring this.
Reveal.
I'm good. No,
but this one hit close to home recently.
I mean, you say, "Hey, check this out."
We can't divulge anything because
maybe they want to ask.
Sensitive nature.
Treaty.
Maybe someone's asked you, "Can I see the picture of fill in the blank?" You find it on your phone. You show it. They take. Maybe it's a vision problem. They take your phone out of your hand, and then the next thing you know, they're swiping through, looking at your whole photo library. Now, I don't have anything weird in my photo library. I know I sound guilty here, but there's just some stuff.
It's okay.
I just,
Not everything on there is for public consumption.
A lot of it are screenshots of Facebook posts that I've sent to you guys.
Well, it's the only way I see them, so I do appreciate that.
But yeah, it's private.
Or memes that I've stored to send to y'all on a day when things are like rough, right?
Yeah. Like when you find out you're in McDonald's drive-thru line and you shouldn't be.
Hey guys, funny story. Let me send you this meme first. Yeah. Now, anybody got any idea where I am?
Yeah, that should be that's a hard fast
I'm
rule,
with you. Absolutely.
Yeah. This next one's a little whiny. Don't make plans in front of those you're not willing to invite. Well, I don't know.
You know what? It's okay to make plans in front of people that you're not going to invite because...
Don't do it to rub it in.
No,
it depends on what your attitude is.
But you can't just constantly be worried about what everybody else is thinking.
Well, you can't invite everybody to if it's somebody that you should invite, don't do that.
Because if you end up with everybody showing up, it reminds me of a recent Family Devo where it was almost standing room only.
SRO.
Yeah, that was rough. It was good though.
It was good.
I enjoyed
it was good, but there was a lot of people in that house.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fire marshal wouldn't have liked hearing about that one.
That was my house, folks, and we had about 40 people in it.
At least.
And the fire marshal was busy that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Because there was a church building burning on the other side of town, unfortunately.
I'm skipping some of these. When someone tells you, it's getting late, I'm getting tired, or I've got a lot going on at work tomorrow when you're over at their place, it's time for you to go. That needs to be said to some people.
Well, there is a few unwritten things that when you're in a conversation with somebody and they say it, you should know what it means. So if I'm talking to you and I say, well, all right, if I'm in person or on phone, that means I'm done.
That's my phone thing. All right.
Yeah. And
all right.
If you're talking to somebody
and let you go,
that person starts responding by saying, oh, crazy, or wow, that means you're divulging too much. Shut up. They're tired of listening to you. They don't care. They've tuned out. That should be an unwritten rule.
But is there a cue, what kind of cues are there that, like, this evening's been fun, but it's over?
Well, I always say it's been good and it's been a joke, but it's not been a good joke, and then I leave. That's just the best way to get out of there.
Yeah.
Millie's granddad, Ethbert Hayes, used to say, if y'all were waiting up with me, I'm better now. And then he would go to bed.
That's pretty good.
It's a good one. I like that one
I will
a lot.
use the Ain't You People Got Homes to go to speech occasionally.
This isn't to get us to go home, but it's to get us to go to bed. A lot of times we'll be watching TV at my dad's house, and my dad will just get up, turn the TV off, and walk to the bedroom.
Yeah. That's subtle.
He doesn't do that so much now, but when we were younger, it's just kind of like we just watch him go back to the bedroom, grab the remote, turn it back on.
Yeah.
What else?
I probably got the best ones out of this.
That was a good list.
What about,
I like it.
Don't propose at someone else's wedding. I'm past that. Oh, I already said this one. Don't stand still right at the entrance or exit of a door. Let people pass.
It's true.
These go on and on. I'm on number 23 here. Yeah, I think we've gotten the gist of this, though.
You hit some that are pretty near and dear to our heart.
Yeah.
So times have changed a lot. I don't know if y'all have noticed this or not, but there's some weird stuff going on in the world today that we did not have to deal with at all when we were in school, right? So what was the weirdest? So in school, what was the weirdest socially awkward thing you witnessed that you can remember? I mean, there was always the ones that would go out and they'd smoke in between classes, sneak out behind the gym and smoke. That was the cool guys did that. There was
or during my time, just go to the smoking area.
That is true. Yeah.
Although I think that did stop a year or two before I did. That the kids in high school had a designated smoking area.
The cafeteria would give you your soda and your cigarette. There was the folks that would at least lower their cars, play their music loud, have the big sound system. I mean, we had some interesting stuff, but we didn't deal with the stuff like what we're dealing with today. So and I've checked it, it's on multiple news agencies, so I think it's real. But this is coming out of Oklahoma. There is an Oklahoma bill that would ban furries from school and require the parent or animal control to pick up the rule breakers. So, do you
Did
know...
you say animal control?
Animal control to pick up the rule breakers. So
Okay.
do you
have
know
to
what
come
this
back to that
do you know what
detail.
this furry thing is?
Yeah.
I've heard my boys mention it, but I don't. It's people that dress up like animals and take on
Usually in a onesie.
like they take on the
It looks
characteristic
extremely hot.
the characteristic of an animal, right? They think they're an animal, they act like an animal. And there's
Not necessarily. I don't know if they necessarily act. I don't know a whole lot about it.
I don't
but
either.
I think sometimes they just walk around in a costume, and then others like actually get engaged in animal behaviors.
So I get weirded out by people in costume. It's why I despise Halloween. One of the many reasons I despise Halloween and circuses and things like that. And the thought of zipping myself into a onesie that is an animal of some sort sounds hot. Sounds a little restrictive.
Right. I doubt we have as much trouble with it down in these parts of the
I wouldn't
country.
think so. But Oklahoma, you don't get much more
it gets hot
mid-America
in
than
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
I just think that let's go back to the animal control, right? The fact that
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean-
I'm about to read a portion
Okay.
about it.
All right,
So,
good.
a bill being proposed in Oklahoma would crack down on so-called furries from attending school and require either a guardian, so a parent or a guardian, or animal control to pick up the students in violation of the rule. This is out of House Bill 3084, and
The
Oklahoma
animal
House.
control people are reading this like.
Now, they
I
say
did
it's
not
got-
sign up for this.
They say that it is a.
I'm gonna need a bigger cage,
Yeah.
for taking them
They,
down to
they
the
say
pound.
that this one's got a long shot of being signed into law, which makes sense. But the bill introduced last year by this representative targets furries, what dictionary.com describes as members of a subculture devoted to art, writing, or costumes depicting anthropomorphic animals. It's just weird.
They're perverts.
Students who imaginary animal or animal species or who engage in anthropomorphic behavior, commonly referred to, shall not be allowed to participate in school curriculum or activities, the bill states. If they're in violation of this section, the student in violation, the parent or guardian of the student in violation shall pick the student up from school, or animal control services shall be contacted to remove the
The
student.
animal control.
It's what
thing
the
is
bill
just-
spells
I can't
out.
get past that.
So you call up your
mean,
local
Seems
municipality.
like a police issue.
Hey, Billy
at
Bob.
most.
We need you to get in the truck and go over
What was
to.
that guy that used to be on TV that was goth and he
Oh,
trapped animals? Billy the Exterminator. Is
Billy
that
the
it?
Exterminator. Yeah.
Call old Billy.
We need you to get over there and go over to the elementary school. We got a kid dressed up like a tiger, and he's not supposed to be there. We need you to
Where they
remove
put
him.
that loop around their neck and pull them out of
I
there.
don't know. Do they put him in the lockbox in the back of the truck? Do you let him ride with you?
No, they got to go in the
Guys,
lockbox. Yeah,
I don't
This
know
is-
what's crazier,
I
a
think they
furry
got-
or
I think
this
they have to
law,
go in a-
because
in a-
They're all dumb.
And then
It's
you-
just weird.
Then when you get back to the office, they got to go in a crate. I mean, it's
yeah,
all,
where do you put them when you?
probably need to get dipped first.
Guys,
but,
we
Yeah.
we live in a world
We
where
dip.
people are starving, poverty's up,
War
inflation is
tearing
through the
world
roof.
apart.
There's war everywhere. We're having to listen to political ads every 5 seconds if you're listening to anything that's not streamed. And even streaming services now are popping these ads. And we have a state representative in the great state of Oklahoma writing a bill that says you can't dress up as an animal and go to school, or we're going to call your parents and or animal control to remove you from the premises.
I just think about that infomercial with the Sarah McLachlan song, and now there's a bunch of furries.
The American Kennel Association.
That's where we're headed.
In the arms of the angel.
Like sad kids with onesies on. The Bucky onesie.
Yeah.
Is that a furry?
I think it is.
I don't know.
I think the
I would
beaver
think it is.
I think
Yeah.
it qualifies
I know
as a
more
furry.
furries than I thought. Then.
Yeah. The whole thing is just, it's kind of, it's strange. And I guess
we don't know. Listen, we
I've
live
got
in a
to pay
society
attention more.
that has gotten to the point it's gotten in because we don't know how to deal with stuff like this. Now, I'm not saying we dealt with it good when we were kids, because you were asking were there different...
Oh, yeah.
We had a group of different people that were mistreated and bullied, and that's wrong.
Absolutely.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
But we have counselors at every school now that are actually counselors. My counselor in my high school, I don't know what she did, but she never counseled anybody. But now we have counselors. Yeah. You take this child to a counselor, and you get this child some help, because you're mentally ill if you're pretending to be an animal. You're a human being, and you need some help assimilating into your culture.
And
your
there's
people.
a difference that we've got to address in our country today between being offended and being bullied. So if you take someone who's dressing like this and you try to correct them, chances are they're going to be offended. That doesn't mean you're bullying them. That doesn't mean that you are trying to intimidate or anything like. You're trying to help them.
There's an obvious problem, and the facts are that a lot of people who've got, some of them are just trying to get attention, but if somebody's really down that path, they don't know how far off the deep end they are. They don't understand. And they have to be, an intervention has to take place from people who care. And here's the truth. It's just a lot easier to overlook it, or to make a law,
or to joke about it,
remove them from the environment. But if you really care, you're going to try to help this person lead a normal life.
I don't know. I've been paying attention ever since the first time my kids brought this up. And where we live, I've not seen a lot of it. I mean, every now and again, if you're downtown,
it's too hot.
You might see something funny or weird like that. But
you can't keep a onesie on for
how serious is it when
Alabama.
Your state government, instead of trying to figure out government-related, maybe that could be the problem. Government's got way too much time on their hands, and they're trying to...
Or, things like this are...
In that 3-month session they're in...
It's a publicity stunt, right?
Really
he got
is.
his name in the news,
I'm
right?
sure
People
he
know
did.
who he is now.
Yeah.
Sometimes
and to some people, they will put him up on a pedestal and say, look at how he is standing up
He's
to
tough.
this counterculture. He is
Tough
a
guy.
hard-fighting, right-wing conservative American.
Fighting wokeism.
Here I am talking bad about right-wing conservative people. This is not where I had expected this to go.
Well, if they're turning their ire against the kids in
if
a
the
furry
state
costume,
law is being affected by something like
sicking
that,
the
when we've
animal
got people
control on them.
starving...
I will say that I'm safe from that costume, because putting one of those costumes on could bring back the Santa episode of 2015.
the acrylic beard.
Miss Millie, Santa's about to pass out. Could you help me?
I gotta get this costume off now.
Now, have we told this on the podcast?
think
We
we
have.
did.
So our
I believe we
listeners
did.
have some.
The fear,
loyal listeners
the
have
fear
some
in
idea
Tim's
of what they're
eyes as he
talking
was
about.
coming down the hall trying to get out of that mask was real.
Yeah. I think we make a mistake of assuming that our listeners know what we're referring to sometimes, but I do remember going over the
We talked
Santa
about that.
incident.
It's best
And it'll
if you
come
look,
back over and over
it's
again
best
throughout
if
our
you listen
history.
to all of them in order, right?
Yeah, see.
I mean, go back and binge listen.
And at this point, it would only take you about 8 hours. Maybe not.
So take the day off from work and listen to the series.
Welcome back. It's time for the serious portion of our podcast, the passage of the week. And Jason, you brought this one to the table, so I'm going to let you read. That's our tradition around here.
Yeah.
So.
I was in a meeting last night, and someone brought this quote up, and I quickly sketched it down so I could look it up later to come back to it. But the quote's by Viktor Frankl, or Viktor Frankl.
Frankenstein.
I'm going with Viktor Frankl. But it says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. And the more I thought about it and the way it was presented in the meeting, it was a really cool thought. So the idea is that between something occurring to you or something happening to you or something, to use a buzzword, triggering you or whatever you want to say, and how you respond to it, there is a space there. And in that space, there's freedom. There's freedom to choose how you're going to respond. And there's great power in that freedom, because how you respond to that stimulus can affect so many things in your life. And it's this idea of one of the greatest gifts that God gave us, which is free choice. He's touching on the fact that between a stimulus and response, we have this moment of free choice, and what we choose to do with that moment can really help us grow. It can give us freedom. It can give us power in ways over our lives. The opposite side of that is it can cause us to not grow. It can take away our freedoms, and we can become powerless based on that response. And it was just a really cool, the way it was put in the meeting, it really hit home, because how we respond to things is one of the few things that we actually have control over in our life. I can't control how Tim responds or Drew responds to things. I can't control how my children respond to things. I can't control the environment around me and what it's doing to me or what it's creating for me. The one thing I can fully control, though, is how I respond to those things. And in that lies a lot of power and a lot of responsibility and a lot of freedom. And I don't know, that quote was just really, man, it really hit me. And it reminded me, especially the first passage I thought of when I read that quote last night when I got home, was James 1:19, be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Because that verse is very much saying, just listen, don't respond immediately, don't get angry immediately, give yourself some time to really
widen that
chew
space
on what you're thinking about. Give yourself space to respond.
It is there. I've never thought about James 1:19 that way, but the two slow words are about putting some space in there. And more space, more choices, right?
Yeah, giving yourself a chance
if you just
to breathe.
Fire off, then you have fewer choices. You've only given yourself maybe one choice, the reaction.
Yeah, right.
But
have you ever
slow down? You open it up.
Have you ever really regretted a situation where you were about to react in some important way, maybe or critical way or lasting way, and you backed off and slowed down a little bit? I don't think hardly ever would we ever, say we made a mistake there. But how many things have we done impulsively, and it's like, man, I can't
have created
that, right?
all kind of harm,
right?
That can't be undone.
Right.
I think a lot of people get stuck in what they can't change. They get stuck in the stimulus, to use his language, and they get stuck in that thing they have no control over, and they're ignoring the vast amount of choices before there. Maybe there aren't a whole lot of choices, but there are two or three that you have, and if you narrow it down to God's will, you might have fewer, but you're going to have a move that you can make, and that's what you need to focus on. That, we talked about David in class tonight. After his sin with Bathsheba, his child died. And he gets up and washes his face after the child dies, and they say, why are you behaving this way? Why are you getting up? And he's like, he can't come back to me now.
Yeah, I can't do anything
it's over.
about it. That's right.
I can go to him. in other words, I can move forward, but I can't move backward. I don't have that choice. So you're going to get frozen and frustrated and feel trapped as long as you keep focusing on that stimulus, that circumstance, that other person. But if you look at the space around you, there's a move to make. And one of those, or maybe several of those, are the right move.
Yeah. And rarely ever is the right move your knee-jerk reaction. I think there's times, like if you from a stimulus to response, you touch a hot stove and your hand pulls back real quick. That's a good knee-jerk
Or
reaction.
if you're a mature person with a lot of experience, you may have developed good habits to where you can react.
But most
properly.
of us, generally speaking, if we go right off the cuff out of our feeling after the stimulus has occurred to us, we're not mature enough to handle it that way. That's part of the way where, they talk about when you have children, never discipline your children in anger. Always let yourself calm down. Always give yourself time and space to gather your thoughts so that you're not just responding out of your feelings, because your feelings are wrong. I mean, so often your feelings will guide you in the wrong direction. And I don't know, I really love this quote. I like seeing it as that space between the two.
Yeah, because a lot of times our immediate reaction is human nature, right? I mean, it's
the flesh.
It's the flesh. It's to if someone's striking at you, strike back. It's the things that are fleshly in nature, right? And so the question is, how well do we have the flesh under control, right? So how well are we controlled? I think maybe there's also another end on this, right? Because sometimes I'm thinking about this right now in terms of like interaction. Maybe somebody's criticizing you, or maybe somebody's just being mean to you, and or maybe it is a sort of a heightened situation with your spouse or your children, and where striking back immediately or saying the first thing that comes out of your, or is in your mind, comes out of your mouth or whatever, frequently not a good thing. Walking away, taking time, probably a good thing. Walking completely away, not always the best thing, right?
No.
So there's probably some balance that says if you make that space infinite,
There needs to be a response.
There needs to be a response. It needs to be, done with control in all of those ways. But, the other end of that spectrum is don't live a life where that space is just a lack of action.
Yeah.
Right? Where there's just where you
that's not
where
the
basically
kind of space he's talking about. That's
everything that you deal with in life, right? So, your spouse makes you angry and you don't talk it out, you just walk away. Your kids, do something that needs correction, you don't deal with it, you just walk away. And so
that in itself is a response.
It is, right?
I choose
sometimes
to do nothing. I choose
sometimes
to ignore my family.
It's almost worse than striking back is doing nothing, because it, gives that feeling that we've just given up on others, ourselves, life.
And that's where I love the language he uses there where he says it in that space is our power to choose. We don't think a lot of times about what our power is, and our power is pretty well limited to our choices. And I don't know, just that ability, even if it's not something heated or in the moment, it could be a job change. It could be something major like that, a life change, a loss in the family. And sometimes that space to choose how we respond may need to be a little while, so you can contemplate, so you can grieve, so you can plan. But just that idea that it's within our choice. We talked, I think it was a couple of podcasts ago, about luck. So many
Yeah.
people talk about bad luck and good luck. Well, if bad luck happens to you, you have power to choose how you respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
If good luck happens to you, you have a choice to choose your response to it. And I think we kind of concluded in some ways that luck necessarily isn't a genuine thing.
No, everybody has bad luck.
That's right.
The people that you might criticize and say, well, nothing bad ever happens to them, probably have had really, really bad stuff. Eventually in your life, something bad's going to happen.
And the way
We
you
said
handle
that,
it
I
is
think,
how
when
you respond to it.
That's right. And the
And
people
that's
that
in
you
your
think
control.
have it all
Yeah.
together, have it all together, not because of luck, but because they've made some good choices. And the superpower that God has given us through Christ is love.
Yeah.
In that space, you should ask yourself, what does love do in this case?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll come up with some really radical answers.
Yeah.
Tim brought one up from the Sermon on the Mount. Someone strikes you on the cheek, turn to him the other also.
Mm-hmm.
That's what does love do?
Mm-hmm.
The other one at the end of Romans 12, if your enemy is hungry, feed him.
Yep.
And we say that all the time, but just think of your enemy, and then think of him being sick at home, and you bringing a meal to him. I can't do that. Well, that's what love does, and that's your superpower. It really is the most powerful thing in the whole world. And I'm not saying it's
not the easiest thing.
it doesn't always quote unquote win. You won't always defeat your enemy by trying to make him into your friend. But of all the choices you have, it's the one that won't destroy you.
Right.
And it's the one that, if it doesn't solve the immediate problem, it corrects a lot of other problems and prevents more from developing. And so I think in that space, we always need to think about that. Now, if, there are probably some scenarios where that question alone doesn't work and you have to put some other thoughts with it. But I think the first impulse of a Christian ought to be, what does love do in this space? Mm-hmm. Especially when we're wronged and hurt by other people.
Well, and I think it's just it's an encouragement to be intentional with how you use that space. Because sometimes we don't, until I read this quote, I never really thought about there being a space between a stimulus and how I respond to it. It was just, this happened, this is how I fixed it. But there really is. There's always some time to respond, and that gives you a lot of power in how you're going to do it. And it's almost, in some ways, you've got to make those decisions before you get there. Like you were talking about responding in love. You don't decide in the moment, I'm going to respond in love. You decide in the morning, or you decide when you take on Christ, or you decide when you're doing your Bible study, hey, I'm going to respond with love. We all have kids that are of dating age, and one of the discussions we've had with our boys as they're dating is, don't decide in the moment when you're with your female friend what you're going to do and what your limits are. You got to choose that stuff before you ever go on the first date, because you're not going to make a wise choice
Absolutely.
in the moment. And that's in that response, that power to choose our response in that space. A lot of that's intentional, and we've already thought through, I'm going to respond in a Christ-like manner. I'm going to respond with love. I'm going to respond with grace. I'm going to respond with mercy, instead of trying to figure it out on the fly.
And we usually give little bios on the people who said the quotes. It's funny to me that we haven't mentioned Viktor Frankl, who's one of the most interesting people we've talked about. Yeah. He learned this stuff in a German concentration camp. He was a Jew who survived the Holocaust in World War II. And he noticed that the people who were survivors were people who saw themselves as making choices even in that. So if you want to criticize Viktor Frankl, realize where he's been. You think you're pinned between two rocks. Well, how about being caged in a concentration camp with gas chambers and starving to death?
a breadth of experience.
What kind of choices did he have?
I want to give one other thought about the idea of this space, and that is, I think it ties in a couple of things we've talked about already, and that is, hopefully we begin to grow in such a way, and I think it's growing in love, I think it's trying to grow to be more like Jesus, so that hopefully this space can become shorter because we train ourselves, we make these choices ahead of time, and we become better at dealing with things in the moment. I think about how Jesus always had the right answer to everything. Mm-hmm. When people were criticizing him, when people needed, love, when they needed some grace, he always knew, well, why is that? Well, I think we could say that he was God. God is love. He personified love. And that allowed him to always have the right response. And I think the more we can grow to be like him, maybe that, so we're talking about tonight, one of the things we can do is give ourselves more space to do the right thing. The other thing we need to be working toward is to be better at even shortening that time and being able just to respond to things. And it's almost the discussion you made about making your choices ahead of time. Sometimes you need to say, listen, the next time I really get fired up about something, really get angry for probably no legitimate reason, but somebody hits one of my buttons and triggers me, how am I going to react to that? And, we're purposeful about it. We think about what Jesus would do. We pray about it for strength. And maybe we get better and make it at being able to even shorten that time in the right kind of way, with the right kind of response, because we're growing to be more like God.
Yeah.
One of the passages that I thought about with this, and to me it's a really hard passage, so I deal with sometimes some temperament issues, but it's the passage in Ephesians 4:26 where it says, "Be angry and sin not." That can be a hard thing, especially if you have temperament issues. And the key to that in being angry...
What's he talking about temperament? Have you ever noticed?
You've probably never noticed that about me. I'm pretty calm. I thought
I knew you.
I don't get passionate and loud about things ever.
No.
But maybe the key to that being angry and sinning not is that space between the stimulus and your response.
Right.
And just taking a moment to just sit back and assess, what am I feeling? How am I going to respond? Because that is something I can control.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That verse just popped up when I was talking about it.
It's funny how conversation... One of the reasons I love doing this podcast with you guys is you think differently in conversation than you do just on your own. And of all the key words in this quote that I thought would impress me the most at the end of the evening, it wouldn't have been space, but that is the one that is just really got my wheels turning tonight. I was thinking a lot about freedom and stimulus and
growth,
response and growth, but space is really a very interesting idea to think about. So, we need to do that. That's all the time that we got tonight. Appreciate everybody for joining us. And as we ask this at the end of every episode, please spread the word. Tell your friends about us. We are working to make this a great podcast. We are giving ourselves some space here to grow. So we hope to get better, and we appreciate any kind of feedback you can give us, especially ratings and reviews on your favorite podcast platform. We're going to keep looking up passages so we can have some fresh material for you. So keep that subscribe button pushed, and join us next time.